Hi everybody and welcome to the 23rd Ljubljana Talks. Here in studio today on Easter Friday, I'm together with Jan Oršić, the legendary Jan Oršić, and today we will talk about the association meeting needs survey which ICA published just few days ago.
Yeah.
And Jan, the first things we would like to focus on is this statement. Meetings and events are still the largest segment of revenue generation for associations.
Yeah.
So, any comment about that?
Well, I think we have to start at the beginning.
Okay.
And to say that this survey was really kind of, it came in at the right time. So we have noticed that there is an incredible demand of association executives and associations trying to organize their events. And everything's been kind of booming, you know, there's a lot of demand, the so-called pent-up demand has finally come into the market. There's a lot of requests, there's a lot of things going on. We see that there is a lot of new events being created, which we will get into a little bit later on. But I think this is very telling. It means that the association market, even after COVID, still puts its money on getting the money through events. And that I think is very telling. And it kind of confirms what we've seen last year. And that is that as soon as there was the ability to travel, people traveled. As soon as there was the ability for people to meet, people met. And, you know, the fact that ICA, so, you know, the International Congress and Convention Association, basically cut all of the hybrid and virtual meetings in their statistics. They just went full on back into live. It tells you that the return to live is here. Of course, there's a lot of questions in how this will be, you know, how it will come to life at the end.
Yeah, does this bring the better quality, better experience? Are these events more immersive at the end? But usually it's not like that because now we see a boom. Just to comment a little bit, 46% of respondents says that the main revenue stream comes from the conferences and events. So
which is almost 50%.
Almost 50%.
It's a very big number, and you know. As it also states in the comments, you know, they want to diversify their revenue streams and become more financially sustainable in the future. It also shows that, you know, in the later part of the report, you know, about the hybrid events and the virtual events and all this stuff. But for me, the core idea is, you know, because it all boils down into economics. Is something financially sustainable? Can something financially survive? And what its purpose is.
Exactly.
And I think that also with this, you know, trying to find new revenue streams and be more sustainable, we get to a different kind of situation where all of these organizations have to start rethinking their purpose in a way.
Exactly.
So are they focused on delivering knowledge, or are they focused on creating profit, or are they focused on whatever they are focused on?
On communication, for example.
On communication.
Bringing people together, you know, create communication platforms which could be now in Metaverse or whatever, not just events, you know, itself. So basically, yeah, I mean, a lot of questions. Huh?
A lot of questions that it opens up, yeah, and you know
but in Ljubljana, what is going on behind the scenes? You're bidding almost every day now. I mean, for different events. Is this obsession with growth coming back? You know, like it was before the crisis, because we were obsessed with the growth before.
Well, I think there's in Ljubljana there's two parts to this question. So the first is, and I think we've been making this very clear for a while now. In Ljubljana, we are not looking at having more visitors. We want to have visitors that stay longer, that feel better in Ljubljana, that increases also their expenditure, and that they come throughout the year. So it is not about, you know, picking out in the peak season. It's about a sustainable visitation of the city. So this is the destination point of view on growth. So growth in many ways is kind of limited also with how destination can be reached, with what its capacities are. And a very interesting thing that we've noticed, and this is a really interesting topic, perhaps for another day with another guest here at Ljubljana Talks, we've noticed that as last year a new hotel opened, the Grand Plaza with 354 five-star rooms, and there have been many renovations. As the opening after post-COVID started to happen, the number of Airbnbs that existed before COVID and then, reduced considerably during COVID did not rise back. So the hotels are kind of, mitigating this. They took over a part of the market that was previously held by Airbnb. It's a very interesting, it's a very fresh piece of information. We are following this because we'll see what happens this year, how, the Airbnb will pick up or how the hotels will correspond. There's a lot of these things that are happening. The second question is about then the associations. Now, we know that every association knows where its breaking point of an event is, so that has to be reached. What we've seen in the destination is that most of the international events have gone over that target that they've set. So the response was better, the visitation was better, the number of delegates, whatever. So we've seen it grow. But it's not growing in a sort of a crazy new way. But it's a very good indicator that the whole meetings industry is a very healthy one. And just to add, in terms of us bidding, it's actually even better. The first time that I know of, we get so many, organizations and planners meeting, just knocking on our door saying, hey, we want to come to Ljubljana. We have a group, because of everything that Ljubljana stands for, we want to come there.
Also sustainability and all the
sustainability, absolutely. Sustainability here is something that I think we are really starting to see the benefits of us going on this path.
One comment. Well, we can talk also about pitching and bidding. These are two sides of the same story, actually, so more or less. What we are doing in our agency, we are pitching a lot. So this is how we understand the market. It's more for corporate clients, where we see two trends, maybe just a comment. First one is that creativity is really number one issue. If you do not deliver creative solutions to the client and good full service activities for the client, you will never win a pitch. No way, because the corporate clients are super demanding. In terms of creativity. But on the other side, we see a trend. We just lost one event against a really cheaper destination in the region. So this price sensitive moment is here because of inflation, because of everything what is going on the market. So this is maybe just a short comment what is going on corporate market. So it's quite dynamic, I must say. So a lot of pitches. Definitely Slovenia is also on the map of corporate clients because of all activities, maybe because of sports sometimes because of, it's difficult to say what brings clients to our country or to our region, but basically a mixture of different things. But yeah, I can confirm that also in that field there is a kind of boom.
Absolutely. And we see a lot of corporates coming in to do corporate meetings and things like that. Also international, global. Just yesterday I got a request, coming in June, 150 people.
Amazing.
I mean, we are what, 2 months away? And this is everything is so pent up on this short time moment that it's very interesting to see. And at the same time, we know that there are events and organizers and companies that are really trying to prove that they are more sustainable, that they are different, that they have agendas that they're really meaning seriously. And they are kind of looking for those different destinations. They're looking for new destinations. And if on one side, and we had this conversation after Conventa, which I don't think we really spoke about so far.
Now we hear results, so we can talk about it.
But this could be a completely different session.
Definitely.
They are willing to travel, but they are willing to travel also differently.
But I need to comment something about sustainability, because it's really painful to me, because I'm really addressing a lot of issues also of greenwashing. I don't want to become a green police, no way. This is not about that. It's just to stop with the activities which are really against religion. And we are driving on a highway with 200 kilometers per hour with blindfolded, because we don't know what we are doing. Yeah. We do not measure what we are doing. If we do not measure what we are doing, then of course, guys, I mean, we have a problem. Basically, then we are implementing things which are with almost zero effect on greenhouse emissions. Not to mention this social side or regenerative actually effects of our industry, which is, in my opinion, even more important. And
what do you think about the sustainable fuel for planes? So,
I mean, everything what brings down the carbon footprint is good for. I mean, I support everything.
Okay,
but as I said, we need to know the balance, you know.
But this is the core of, you know, the transport is the core.
It is the core.
Output,
yes, so
right?
It's absolutely positive.
And the paradox is that, you know, jet fuel is not taxed in Europe or anywhere else for that matter. So there is no tax on that.
Personally, you know,
and there is not enough sustainable fuel. For all the planes at the same time. So you know what I'm going at. You know, tax it here, and I think slowly things are getting, you know, ahead.
But you know what makes me happy at the end of the day, when somebody comes to me and said, "Okay, because you are," I will not say screaming so much, so loudly. I change my way how I actually deal with the waste. I change my way how I go to the trip. Here, one of colleagues of us, you know, just explained to me that because of what we are doing in terms of sustainability, he's now completely different. He has a completely different view on waste management at home. So it started like that, and this is what makes me happy, you know, at the end of the day. So it's about behavioral change. This is the core of it. And if this fuel will change the way how the airlines will actually move on, it's amazing. But as I said, this is a kind of story about turkeys and Christmas. We spoke about that many times. We need to understand also this regenerative part of the story. We are working hard on that to measure also that, because we also need to learn how to measure that, you know, that part of the story, which is hidden at this particular moment. There are some theories and techniques how to do it, but not in practice. Nobody is really doing that. So basically, we will start with that in Ljubljana.
Well, you know,
because it's in your strategy.
I know, and our strategy is another thing that we could discuss for a while. But let's get back to the ICA survey, because the second point made here is that 51% of associations are indicating that they will hold their largest meeting in 2023 in person, compared to 41% in 22 and 14% in 21, of course. The thing here, of course, is why only 51?
Because definitely some of the associations, in my opinion, if you provoke me actually about that, they're using heavily hybrid models actually. They realize that this brings a lot of income, but of course when the topic is so interesting for the audience that they actually it's a FOMO actually effect, you know. If this is the event where you need to be somehow, you know, then you can play with the hybrid, and those hybrid events are really successful. Some of them are super successful in monetization, and that's why associations figure out the production is expensive. Of course, we all know that, but when you have an audience, a big audience, a club around you, and FOMO effect, then this works very well. So I do believe, anyhow, although we see now the final stage of investments to the mergers of high-tech companies in our industry, and this is the final phase. Nobody is investing anymore to new startups for digital events at all. It's just about mergers. What will Zoom buy on the market, which is not covered by Zoom? So this is the question. Or what will WebEx buy on the market, which is not covered? But definitely hybrid models are working. I mean, I heard a lot about that this part of the industry is dead. I don't believe so. I don't believe in that. I believe that also digital and hybrid will stay with us, because sometimes it's more practical, sometimes it's about monetization. You can get out. So this is my comment on that.
If you cannot have a revenue stream, then you should manage your money better, perhaps by using technology. And what you're saying, I think it's true, because we've noticed, when we look at which events are taking place, we notice there's a lot less of these small operational meetings where teams would get together and just kind of work things out. This is all done on Zoom now, or Teams, or whatever the platform is. It's about, if you want to get something done quick and it's operational and everybody in the room knows each other, we just do Zooms, and we do it the same. And before it was like, oh yeah, we need to have a meeting, we will sit down. It was an hour getting there, an hour before, an hour later. It took you a whole day to have a meeting. Now you know it's going to take 45 minutes and you're done.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's much more effective and so on. So this is here, actually. This is the new reality, I believe. One more year and we will have a clear picture of this data, I think so. But definitely online and hybrid is still there, But the change, in my opinion, is on the side of suppliers. Because, I told you many times, before the crisis, there were just a few well-known platforms. When we analyzed during 2021, what is going on, it was over 300 different online platforms, helping us. And, I realized at that time that this will be a big fight between them, to survive, actually. So here we are now.
And I mean, we are doing something digital here as we are. I think we are very big advocates for meetings live. I think we both believe that meetings should take place live to really have that right effect. But there are meetings that can be just as well be done hybrid, or especially virtual.
It depends on the question why and the answer to that. This is always the main and the most important question in any kind of communication. Why we will meet live, actually, or online. So if you know the answer, then I'm saying even that we have 4 gods now, Greek gods, digital, live, hybrid, and metaverse. This is where we live now, and that's why our industry is much, much stronger now after the corona.
Yeah, I think it actually attracts a lot of youth. Because of these platforms. There's a whole sociological and context about how the young generations are communicating, how willing they are to go outside. There's things like phobias of answering a phone and things like that. I don't know if you have that, but let us know in the comments below. It's great to hear about these things, because they are a part of our ecosystem. The new generations that are now coming to the workforce are expecting things differently as they were. That conversation, we've always done it that way, it just doesn't work. And
I need to comment something.
And it's telling because you can see that just under half of the associations are indicating that they will be changing their RFPs in the near future, adding more hybrid digital options, sustainability, as well as legacy initiatives. And that's very good point. Telling.
Very good point. But one comment. Last week I was a judge for in the jury, actually, for Eventex. I cannot comment what comes to my heart, close to my heart, but there was one event from Baltic states, I will just say that, which was intergenerational. I was impressed by what that agency created. It was actually a school of that, and I learned from that event so much, and definitely this goes together, these are stereotypes, these generational groups, if if you have an answer to why older generation should meet with younger, it works. really, I cannot comment more because it's still in the process. But that one comes to my heart actually, because you know when you are judging in a jury, you see a lot of different events, and half of them are about production, about the stage, mainly from the Middle East. You know, coming with this huge production, with the drones and everything what goes around, but sometimes the idea is missing, you know, because it's not difficult to create a show, it's difficult to create experience. This is completely different story. But to bring to the participants, to give them a knowledge which will change actually their lives, that's a different story. Like at your concerts, Jan, you know, when the music is in your head 1 week after the concert, if you go to the concert, you know?
Well, you know, if I go to a concert, then yeah, you listen to the music before you go to the concert. And all it, you have, I mean, it's a part of the experience.
Yeah, but know? The energy goes with you home.
Of course, of course.
Sometimes it's 1 week energy, you know, I used to say.
I think I attended the Foo Fighters tribute.
You're a fan,
concert.
I know that. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan, and I did the tribute concert last year. You know, and that energy is still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
If I close my eyes and think of it, of course.
Amazing. That's what we need to achieve with the events.
And I want to go a little bit further on this one. Okay. Because I'm torturing you now. Today we have a structure. Today we have a structure, right?
Okay.
But the need for core PCOs is increasing.
Yeah.
Do you think this is related only with staffing issues, or there is more behind that?
My comment is a really simple one. If I look on the 5 biggest ones, starting from Kenes to MCI, AIM Group, and so on, they all bought in the crisis communication companies. You agree with that?
Yeah.
So they are moving from not really full service, although everybody is saying that it's a full service, but full service in communication terms, they are offering full service. So they can really actually power the association with the activities, products, if you want to. You won't imagine before, you know. You wouldn't even imagine before. This is where I see they are moving on. So they are really becoming a full service providers, actually.
And also, I would imagine it's a part of risk mitigation.
Of course.
You know, somebody else is taking a part of the risk of staffing, you're finding the staff, taking care of that. And
also a risk about participants and the events, you know, at the end of the day. They're like banks, you know, in a way, somehow. The biggest ones, and when we are talking about core PCO concept, the small local PCO can get such a contract, but not on a global scale. Maybe for a local association or regional association, it's economy of scale, yeah, for sure. So at the end of the day, this is also something which is important.
But it's very telling because the local PCOs have been affected because of that.
I think so.
It shows that there's going to be a big thing happening in the future with core PCOs. And
I mean, wholesaling something is not the concept anymore. You know, you can wholesale by yourself. If you're an association, last but not least, you can go to booking.com and you did half of the job. I'm of course overreacting now, but basically, you need to.
That's cynical.
That was a little bit cynical, but I mean, it's much more than that. Or to book a venue, you know. So I'm provoking. I'm just provoking now, but. You need to deliver more than just logistics. No, this is what I believe is the core question for everybody. Yeah?
And we've kind of touched on the topic of sustainability, and we've touched on the topic of staffing and the new generations. I think the association survey has a lot of content that
a lot.
Really, if you start going through it, and we've talked about it before today, and there are some really interesting things, and it is about the day policy, and it is the DEI, and it is about, you know, sustainable and inclusive events, and they have to have legacy. And there's a lot of these new terms in our industry. I mean, I remember about, let's say, 15 years ago, we were an industry that used to pride itself by saying we have all these abbreviations that only we understand.
Yeah, you know, that's true.
IMEXs to IBTMs and MPIs and so on, and sites and so on. but now we are adding terms that are coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, from marketing.
Well, they're marketing, but I think there is a broader social impact.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
On the industry, we're not as closed as we used to be.
You're right. You're right. Absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially around sustainability. Of course, we need to a kind of glossary of these terms, because it's not always clear what we are talking about. So. About regeneration, for example, nobody really knows
the big R.
The big R. From degeneration to regeneration, or what? I'm again provoking a little bit. So basically, what does it mean actually? Only when we will measure these effects, we will understand completely this really, really important next level of sustainability, if you ask me. Yeah. But actually, at the end of the day, it is the next level, or the final level of sustainability, where we will help to the Mother Earth actually to survive. So, yeah.
But isn't it interesting that when we speak about these terms and the theory, in a way now gives us an indication of how to actually approach our whole business model to be different. And if we talk about, the initiatives of United Nations and creating a new, better, society, the way that society works. We're talking about the value system. We're talking about the principles of economy, of how things are funded.
Yeah, that's true.
I think, but we see the end. It's not just, we know where we have to go now.
I mean, I was in Slovakia last week, actually, and we talked a lot about Nouriel Roubini last book about mega threats. So it's an amazing book, actually. I really suggest to everybody to read it. It's a brand new book, actually. He's a kind of Dr. Doom, that was his nickname, actually. He's a kind of visionary about that, and we need to be aware of those mega threats, and then we can find solutions for that. Not just mega trends, because mega trends is a little bit, too wide, actually. But mega threat is always really focused on specific problems of the humanity. But on the other side, I'm just commenting this. I have on my table Greta's book, the climate book, which is a kind of
non-sustainable pack of paper.
Yes, exactly. But this is something everybody who is working on the sustainability must read, because it's actually. It's not her book, actually. She was just collecting all the bright minds from the world, to collect all the knowledge we have at this particular moment about climate crisis and about sustainable actions. So there are actually quite good, actually, ideas how to get out of the problem, But in every industry, we need to find the real way for moving from words to action. And for example, we are doing something like that here with the pilot of Conventa. We are doing that together with the whole community here in Ljubljana. It's a process, but I'm really looking forward to what will come out. Yeah.
Great and exciting things coming up. There will be CityDNA conference in Sofia, which I will be attending. So there's going to be some very interesting stuff.
Will it be your first time in Sofia, or?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
first time.
But
it's a beautiful city.
Not on CityDNA conference.
I was several times there, because we cooperate, and it's an amazing city. You will be surprised.
And then we have
a promotion. Yeah,
there goes Sofia. I look forward to coming there.
Yeah.
ICA has a united Central European chapter, and France and Benelux. Chapter meetings in Strasbourg. That's going to be very exciting as well. And then it's IMEX time, and we're going to be recording at IMEX as well. So, if anyone wants to say hi or have
share
a topic,
opinions, topics, whatever, we are
let
there.
Us know. So, we'll be there.
Yeah. Thanks again for watching us, and see you soon somewhere around Europe. Bye.
Bye-bye.